Hi everyone, welcome back to Business Studies class. In last class we have seen types and merits of joint stock company, right? So in this class we are going to learn the difference between public and private company. Because I told you, apart from your registered company, as we have seen, your types of company can be chartered company, statutory company and registered company, isn't it? The registered company will be counting as per our syllabus. In that registered company, again you have three types, or it can be of three types, like unlimited company, limited by shares and limited company. Okay, so in that limited company will be seeing public limited and private limited company. That is what the only syllabus what you have for this year. So the difference between public and private limited company can be asked for 4 marks. Hence we are going to see the difference between both. So chart, you can see chart. A public company is a public company is a company where minimum number of members can be 7 and maximum there is no limit at all. You try to understand, you have different columns for public and private company, and here you have point of difference. If 2 marks question is asked, like what is public company, what is private company, you can write the same. No need to write the difference, but by using the mode of difference, point of difference, you can just write the explanation. How it is, I am just saying you. So a public company is a company where number of members, minimum number of members will be 7 and maximum you don't have any limit. Okay, but if it is a private company, minimum members should be 2, but maximum is limited to 200. If you remember, we have seen one of the feature and merit called large, huge capital to a joint stock company because of this members. Okay, when you see in the cooperative societies, partnership firms, number of members were limited, right? But in your public company, maximum you don't have any limit. Means if you are starting a public limited joint stock company, then maximum you can take any number of members. You don't have any limitation. But if you want to have private limited company, then you should go for 200. Then minimum number of directors, that is directing or managing a business. Okay, managing directors, we say MD, managing director. Okay, so for a public company there should be 3 and for private company there should be 2. Index of members. Index of members in the sense, it is a particular index, a document has to be maintained by the public company, but there is no necessary for a private company. Transfer of shares. Transfer of shares, yesterday if you remember we have discussed about that. That is, if you have invested and you have purchased the shares of a company, now you need your money back, you want to sell your securities, then what happens? Easily through the platform or institution called stock markets, you can easily sell the securities. That is what the transfer of interest, that is transfer of ownership. You can transfer your share certificates from you to someone else, though that who is interested in purchase, he can just purchase. So it is so easy. In public company there is no restriction at all, you can easily transfer that, means you can sell your shares very easily, but in private company you don't have. Okay, then last one is in private company, if you are opening a private private limited joint stock company, then you have a restriction on that. It is not completely no, we say restrictions are there. Okay, then lastly, that is invitation to public to subscribe the shares. So this is the most important point about this. In detail you will be learning in your chapter called formation of a company. In further classes we are going to deal with that chapter. There we will be dealing what is this subscribing, invitation to the public. In simple, I'll tell you. See, a joint stock company, they want to start, initially they have made some investment, still I need investment, so I invite people, those who are interested to invest in my company, you can just invest. That is what the invitation to the investors we say. Like that, a public company can easily invite people and it can issue its shares and debentures to any number of people, irrespective of their things like caste, religion, whether they are related to that community or not, irrespective of that. Even it can be internationally. Okay, it is not even bound to your a particular country. Even internationally you can sell your shares, so international capital will flow into your business. That can happen in your public company, but in private company it is not like that. A private company can issue shares, debentures. What are these? We'll be learning in further classes. It means it can take investment only from a particular people, like family, friends, community. Only to that extent it will be extended. That is why we say the scope of private limited company will be less. Private limited joint stock companies scope will be limited, whereas public limited joint stock companies scope will be more. Okay, so a private company cannot invite public. It means it cannot take investment from general public. It will be limited, like only one community, like family, like friends. It will be like that. Okay, hence we say invitation to public to subscribe its shares is somewhat less in your private company, or cannot in your private company, and it can invite public for the subscription in your public company. Apart from this difference, one more main difference you have to remember. When you write the name, use the words, a particular name for your company. If it is a public company, you can just write, for example, if you take JSW company, just they can write like. If it is a private limited company, you have to write JSW private limited company itself. Limited, private, that word should be mentioned. So use of name, it makes different. So in the name itself you can find out whether it is a public company or private joint stock company. Private limited should be mentioned. Okay, so here you may not mention public limited. You can just say JSW limited. Okay, it is understood that it is a public company. When you write JSW private limited, it is understood that it is a private joint stock company. So use of name, in the use of name itself you are able to find out. You can do one thing, you can see the different products available in your house. You can just see the name of that particular company, whether it is just limited they have written or private limited. If it is limited, you can make it is one of the public company. First it should be a joint stock company. In that way I am saying. Okay, if they write only limited, it can be it will be a public company. If they write private limited, it will be a joint stock private limited company. Is it clear? So here you have almost 5 difference. This can be asked for 4 marks. So in that way you will be able to score out of 8 marks if the difference is asked. You can add up this. I hope that is given in your notes. If at all they ask what is public company, what is private company, then just write a public company is a company where the minimum members are 7, maximum are limited, where the number of directors are 3, where they can invite invite capital, that is they can invite public to subscribe its shares. Like this you can write about the public company. Same thing with private company, which can be asked for 2 marks. Okay, and one more thing here I want to say you, whenever the difference is asked, better present through a table. That will be a good image, good presentation I can say. Easily you will be scoring marks wherever, it may be for 2 marks, 4 marks or 8 marks, whatever it may be. If difference is asked, write difference between any 2 or 3, better present that through a table. That will give the invigilator a best impression. And last, this is the last topic of this chapter. So what it is, factors influencing the choice of form of business organization. A similar topic we have seen in our first chapter 2. There what we have seen, what are the factors to be considered in order to start a business. So you want to start a business, what are the things you have to consider? Like you have seen tax planning, layout, then many more things, capital required, all those things you have seen, right? So similarly, what are the factors you want to consider when you want to select a form of organization? Now you have seen different forms of organization like sole proprietor, partnership, Hindu undivided family, cooperative and joint stock company. Okay, these are the different types of ownership. I'm not talking about type of business, I'm talking about type of ownership. What type of ownership you need for your business. You may do many types of business, like you may go with banking business, you may go with logistics business, you may go with the wholesale business, you may go with the retail business, whatever it may be. Type of business is different. I'm not talking about type of business. We are only talking about type of ownership of business. What type of ownership you want to have on your business, whether you want to be a single owner or you want to take someone with you, like that it is. So we have seen 5 types of forms of ownership, 5 types of different types of ownership what you can have for your different types of business. So how you are going to select what type of form of ownership you have to select for your business? Then you have to go with these points. It is also very important question, may not be from the point of view of exams, but to understand this is very important. So you can see that here what are the points to be considered. Like first you have to consider what capital you need and what is required. Okay, then that is what required is cost of formation. Okay, what capital you have, availability of capital, then cost of formation, how much capital you required, easy of formation, that is legal formalities, how many legal formalities are involved. For example, if it is a sole proprietary and your partnership and HUF, no much formalities, but for your cooperative and for your joint stock company, the two joint stock company, too many formalities. Like this you have to see, you should have a basic idea. Then transfer of ownership, whether the ownership can be transferred or not. For example, in sole proprietor, in partnership form, in HUF, you cannot do that, but in cooperative you can do that. There it is a possibility because it also collects capital through the shares. Okay, but practically that is not most effective, but in general option we have. But in your joint stock company, purely it can be transferred happily. Okay, then managerial skills, how much, see if you're a sole proprietorship, you have to look into everything, so you should be expert in different fields. So are you expert, then you can go with sole proprietorship. It is like that, managerial skills. Then regulations, that is rules and regulation, that is law. As we know, your sole proprietor is not guided by any law in our country, and partnership, though we have a law which guides, which says the code of conduct, we may or may not be registered, hence we don't have any strict code of conduct. But for your cooperative society you have like that, and to be frank, for joint stock company you have more regulations, because it is completely an artificial person which has to function as per the rules and regulations of law. Clear? So more rules and regulations. And flexibility, how flexible in easily adopting and leaving, exit and entry, is it easy, flexible, that you have to consider. And continuity, how it, whether it can be continued for long run or not. One we have seen, like cooperative and joint stock company, free entry and free exit, you don't have any much trouble. Even the business will not be affected, to be frank. People may come, people may go, but business remains unaffected. Okay, then last one is liability. This is also a very important point, because karta, partnership, in partnership, sole proprietor have unlimited liability. Only your cooperative society and your co-partners and your joint stock company members will be enjoying your limited liability. So all these factors you have to consider. By considering this, here it is given most advantageous, least advantageous. You can see like availability capital, a joint stock company will be getting more capital. Sole proprietor, as he is a single person, he will be getting limited capital. Like this it is. Generally favorability, this can be somewhere, it can be asked for single mark, so you can just go with that. Example I am getting you, managerial skills. So joint stock company can appoint professionals, because it will be having a lot of capital, but your sole proprietor cannot do that. So hence we say lack of managerial skill. If you are doing a business where proficiency is very important, everyone who are working for your business should be professional. In such a case, better you go for joint stock company, not for your sole proprietor, because joint stock company will be having more money, so you can appoint more people, because you have money, you can pay them. Generally, the one who is having expertise will expect more salaries. That can be possible only in your joint stock company. But a sole trader, though you are so expert, he cannot hire you. Sole proprietor cannot hire you, because he cannot pay you. He don't have such capital. So like this, most advantageous and least advantageous things are given. So you can go with this. I hope entire chapter we have completed. All the concepts I have covered. So it is most important chapter, what I can say, after understanding what is your business. So as per what government added in your syllabus is most important things and necessary things they have added. And please go with notes too, because when you listen the explanation and when you go through the notes, it will be very helpful to remember. So here we will be ending up this particular chapter. We have started with knowing what is forms of business, then different forms, all the different forms, and relevant features, merits and demerits we have seen. Here you might have a doubt, so you might be confusing or you might be feeling heavy in remembering merits, demerits, features and all. So what I suggest is, when you read the meaning itself, try to add the features in the meaning itself. Once you are good with meaning, features will be clear to you. When the features are clear, in the features, from the features itself, you can make out merits and demerits. Did you get me? First, you study the meaning in such a way that in meaning itself, you see some of the features. Clear? So, in that features itself, once you go with the features, you should be clear with merits and demerits. In that way, if you understand the concept, you don't get confused. You don't feel heavy of remembering both all the features, merits and demerits. And moreover, types you have like partners type, partnership forms type, then cooperative society, types of cooperative society, all those are important. So, go with the notes. Wherever you have doubt, you please give me a call so that I can clarify you, because here we will be ending up with the chapter, and the next chapters what we are going to deal with, for those chapters, your first 2 chapters will be the base. They are just like a foundation. You have to understand that in a better way. I hope you will do all the necessary base work, important groundwork, so that you are equipped with good knowledge, so that happily we can move with our further chapters. Okay, till we meet in our next class. Take care. Bye-bye.